Hello students. Today we are going to learn evaporation process. The next topic, evaporation. What is evaporation? The name itself gives the idea. Evaporation is the process, the phenomenon of change of a liquid into vapor at any temperature below its boiling point is called evaporation. See what happens for any liquid. The liquid particles are continuously moving, and the energy related to motion we are calling kinetic energy. So we can say that the particles are having kinetic energy. But at the surface, the particles are in contact with atmosphere. Okay, so these particles are having more kinetic energy because they are getting the temperature of surrounding is giving some of the energy to the particles on the surface, right? So the particles are having some more kinetic energy compared to the below particles of the liquid. So these particles, if they have more kinetic energy, right, they can get from anywhere. The kinetic energy they can get from anywhere. So this kinetic, if they are having more kinetic energy, if the energy is enough to break the force of attraction. Okay, the particles are having attraction between them, but the kinetic energy is enough to break the force of attraction, and that particle is separate from a liquid matter, and that particle will convert into vapor form. Okay. So this we are calling evaporation process. So for this, the temperature can be anything. At any temperature, some of the particles can escape from a liquid matter into surrounding, and this process of converting into vapor form we are calling evaporation. In boiling process also, the liquid matter convert into vapor form. So what is the difference between evaporation and boiling? Very important thing. Understand here. For evaporation and boiling, see, evaporation occur at any temperature because at any temperature some of the particles can go from liquid matter to surrounding in air, in atmosphere. So it can occur at any temperature, but boiling process occurs at very definite temperature, and that temperature we are calling boiling point. Okay, so evaporation occurs at any temperature, boiling occurs at definite temperature. Evaporation is a surface phenomenon. Only the particles on the surface are evaporating into atmosphere. So it is a surface phenomenon. But boiling, the whole volume of liquid boils and convert into vapor form. So it is a bulk phenomena. Bulk means the whole entire volume. Okay. Third, the temperature of liquid decreases. Okay, evaporation causes the cooling. Why it causes the cooling? That we will learn in further. So temperature, evaporation causes the cooling. So temperature of the liquid decreases in the evaporation process. And while in boiling, we are giving the heat and the volume is boiled. But we have seen in the previous lecture that latent heat, about the latent heat. So when the liquid is boiled, the temperature remains constant and the heat energy is going to break the forces between the particles. So temperature in the thermometer remains constant. So during the boiling, the temperature remains constant throughout the boiling process. In evaporation, energy supplied by the surrounding, okay, from surrounding anywhere, the particles can get the energy. But for boiling, some definite source of energy has to be needed, has to be supplied to for the boiling of the liquid. So this was the basic difference between evaporation and boiling. Now what are the factors affecting evaporation? What makes evaporation is, we can say it is a slow process, but the speed of evaporation can be increased and decreased by some of the factors. So when evaporation process can be speed up, when it can be slowed down, that will be decided by these four factors. First one, surface area. See, evaporation is a surface phenomenon. So if the surface area is more, there will be more place for the particles to convert into vapor form. If the surface is more evaporation will be there. So increase in surface area increases the evaporation process. We have seen this. The proof of this we have seen. When we dry up the clothes, okay, after washing the clothes, we are drying it into the and keeping in the open air. So in this drying up, in this drying up process, the water is evaporated from the cloth. Okay, when the over the water is evaporated, the cloth will be dry. But in this drying up process, we are keeping the clothes in a in such that it covers the maximum area, right? We are not keeping in folded form. We are keeping it in the open, okay, such that it can cover more and more area. So why? Because for more area, the evaporation process will be speed up, so it will be dry fast. Okay? And also next, temperature. When temperature of the surrounding is more, okay, like in summer the evaporation process is speed up, right? Then in summer only the river and ocean, the water of the river and ocean are evaporated. Why? Because in summer the temperature of the surrounding is more the temperature, the particles are getting more kinetic energy and the surface particle will be evaporated. They get the energy from the surrounding and it will be evaporated in the atmosphere. So increase in temperature increases the evaporation process. Decrease in temperature decreases the evaporation process. That's why in winter the evaporation is quite slow. No doubt at very low temperature also the evaporation is occurring. Evaporation occurs at any temperature, whether it is 0 degrees Celsius or below 0 degrees Celsius also. Okay? Any liquid can evaporate at any temperature. Now, humidity. What do we mean by humidity? The amount of water vapor in the atmosphere. Right? So that is the humidity. So if, see, for at any temperature, the atmosphere has some water vapor in it. Okay, but there is a capacity. There is some limit for the amount of humidity in the atmosphere. Atmosphere can't hold the humidity more than certain limit, right? So if the humidity that air is called the saturated air. If there is a maximum amount of your water vapor in the atmosphere, it is the what we can say saturated air. So if the air is saturated, there is a maximum amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere. So more number of liquid particles can't be evaporated. So the evaporation process is slowed down. Okay, because there are already maximum number of water vapor is present in the atmosphere. So the evaporation process is completely slowed down. But for the unsaturated air, when the atmosphere is dry, like in summer, the atmosphere is completely dry. There are very less amount of water vapor is present. Okay, so the evaporation process speed up to more and more number of water liquid particle evaporated in the atmosphere. So for the humidity, if more humidity, evaporation process will be slowed down, and if humidity is less, the rate of evaporation will be more. Now in wind speed, see for the how wind speed is affecting the evaporation process. Let us say the liquid is evaporated, so water is the liquid vapor is in the atmosphere. So as the wind comes, the water vapor present in that area will be taken by the wind in the another region. So this region is completely empty. So the atmosphere is empty without vapor. So the evaporation process is speed up. So for that, number of water vapor is decreasing in the atmosphere. So the evaporation process increasing. So for more speed, if the wind speed is increasing, evaporation process increases. That's why in a windy day, the clothes are drying up very fast. And also for any tea, for a cup of tea, when you are trying to cool the tea, you are blowing by your mouth, right? Why? Because when evaporation occurs from the surface of the tea, then the vapor form, when you are blowing with your mouth, the vapor will be taken away by by the air, and again the evaporation increases, and again you are blowing, so water vapor is taken away. So by continuous blowing, the evaporation process is speed up, and evaporation process is causing cooling. Okay, that we are seeing in further. So this is how increase. So by blowing, you are not doing any magic, or not, there is no magic inside the inside your blow. Simply by taking the water vapor away from that region, you are increasing the rate of evaporation from that hot liquid. So slowly the tea will become cool. So these are the four factors affecting the evaporation process. Now how? The question is how evaporation is causing cooling. Very important question. See, from any surface of liquid, the all the particles are having in a liquid, all the particles are having kinetic energy. See, if you are having energy and the average temperature of the liquid is decided by the kinetic energy of every particle. During the evaporation, the particles having maximum kinetic energy will be separated from, will be converting into the vapor form. It is what we can say, it is escaped from the liquid and converting into the vapor form. So the particles having more kinetic energy are going away, and the particles which are with the less kinetic energy are remaining inside the liquid, right? So the average, so ultimately the average energy of the liquid matter is decreasing, because the particles with more energy are already have gone away in the atmosphere. So this is the reason that during the evaporation, the more energy particles are going away, and the particles with less energy are remaining in the liquid. And this is the reason the evaporation process is causing cooling. Okay, so ultimately the remaining liquid, the remaining particles are having less energy. So the average energy of the liquid is decreasing. This is the reason evaporation causes cooling. So up to now, these are the few topics of this chapter, and so read up to this, complete question answers and exercise question answers. And if you have any doubt, you can ask me